Hi, and welcome to the show. Today, I'm excited to have with me a district executive of the Boy Scouts of America. Her name is Shanta Frisbee. She's a dedicated scouter, but she has so many other interesting aspects in her life that I'm excited to have her today and talk about some of them. But there's big news in scouting. So, Shanta, thanks so much for being here with us.
Well, thanks for having me.
Well, I know scouting's a big part of your life. I want to hear more about that. But let's just back up a little bit and talk about some of the other things you do, like get called out as the chaplain for the fire department. Is that right?
Yes.
How did you get into that?
My husband's a volunteer firefighter, and so I've been with the Lafayette Fire Department for 10 years. And the fire chief kind of tapped me on the shoulder and knew what I did as a social worker and said, "We need you. So attend this training and go get certified." And so that's been about a little over a year ago. And then the McMinnville Fire Department is restructuring, and they invited me to join their chaplaincy program. So I have been doing that since last summer.
Now, as chaplain, what are your duties?
Attending calls. We have a few listed, like residential structure fires, some trauma, to be there. We get our 911 page. If the fire chief taps us out, "Hey, we need you," they can call us, text us immediately. Also delivering death notices, and then working with the firefighters. I mean, they have a very stressful and traumatic job being first on the scene. So we're there to help them process and talk through it.
You've been doing that for how long?
A little over a year. Yeah.
And has it been scary? Has it been, what have you learned?
I've learned to just breathe. I am there holding space for people that are going through a lot, and they touch a lot of darkness, and they just need somebody to be beside them and know they're not alone. And I've been doing that in social work for 12 years, so
Okay.
It's really not an uncomfortable position for me, because I really feel like what I've experienced in my life has only molded me to fulfill that position.
So as chaplain, that implies some sort of spiritual background training. How did you come to that?
I started working on my own spirituality and path after a very unhealthy and toxic marriage that led to domestic violence. And part of my healing process was learning how to reconnect to my God, my deity, and learning also when I moved into a counseling practice how often people don't focus on the spiritual aspect. They focus more on the mind and the body, and the spirit ties that in. That's where the wholeness comes from. So from there, it was pretty easy to work with a lot of the trauma. When I did addictions counseling, all of these things tie in together. And my graduate thesis was basically transforming communities for health and wholeness, and really bringing forth that awareness and mindfulness that you do need to pay attention to your spirit.
And you're an interfaith minister.
Correct.
Tell us about what interfaith means.
Interfaith, to me, is defined by the fact that I am meeting people where they are at. I am not pushing one religion. My religion is kindness, is what I like to say. And I have my spiritual path, and you have yours. And I am there just to help you process it and maybe guide you to challenging yourself and digging deeper to become your own. I mean, you want to be the best that you can be, and I'm not there to dictate that. So it's just kind of reaching where you can find that reverence and what grounds you.
Wow. Okay, so you're a chaplain. You have received this training. You have a master's degree in?
Yes, in organizational leadership.
And then also you did your thesis on, what was that again?
Transforming communities for health and wholeness.
Well, it sounds like you're prepared. And I know the Boy Scout motto is be prepared.
Yes.
So how did you come to scouting?
My first experience with it was back in 2006, when my older son at that time was, I believe, 7. And after, we're in the middle of a divorce, and I had joint custody, and he needed some positive male role models in his life. And my boyfriend at the time, now my husband, was a scout. He was involved in scouting in Germany. He's from Germany, and he was on the Transatlantic Council, and all his great memories from childhood are being a Boy Scout. So we looked into finding a Cub Scout pack, and there wasn't one during the part of the week that I had my son. So with a couple other adults, we started a pack. And from there, got it started. I became a Cub Master for a couple of years, and I stuck with it, took a few years off, and started back up when my second son was old enough to join.
So you started a Cub Scout pack.
Yes.
What's the number?
454.
And they meet?
They meet now at the First Baptist Church in the social hall. Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's quite a legacy. Wonderful. Many young, now, I was going to say young boys, but now let's get to the news here.
Yes.
Before we do that, let's just go to our first slide. I think this is a good set of pictures that talks about some of the things we've talked about there up in the corner. That's, if the people can't, expecting to see a chaplain, they're seeing a woman dressed. And tell us about that.
That was the 4th of July parade in Lafayette.
Okay.
As my husband calls me, I'm the patriotic Mary Poppins.
So this is one of the crews that you
Yes.
would respond with to an emergency as chaplain. And then top right there, what's that?
I was officiating a wedding in a rose garden. I've officiated them at waterfalls, on the beach, pretty much anywhere. I've done over a dozen weddings and actually a couple of celebrations of life and a funeral. So kind of well-rounded
As an interfaith minister.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, let's go back to that slide because there's more on it. Down there in the lower left, what's that?
Is that the Scouter Award?
Yes.
Yes, that's, last year I won Scouter of the Year, which is a pretty rare honor because at the time I was district executive, but
Yes.
only part-time. And so we hold district dinners to award our volunteers and people who have made a difference in our district with scouting. And even though I'm a paid professional, my peers on the volunteering spectrum gave me the award.
Just said she's the greatest. She's
Yes.
getting this award.
And they surprised me with it. I had no idea about it till the dinner, so I was really
That's
surprised. It
wonderful.
felt really good.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And then in the middle there on the bottom, what's that?
That is a tabletop I painted. Art is my therapy and my way of creative outlet, and I do paint nights and private art classes, and it's always been something I love from my heart without thinking about any monetary gain. But that's what I do. So.
All right, beautiful. That's beautiful. And then the team captain.
That is with the Children's Tumor Foundation. One of my twin daughters has a diagnosis of a genetic mutation called neurofibromatosis, also known as NF1, and it is spontaneous tumors that grow on your nerves. And so for the last 2 years, I've been a team captain raising money and doing a walk of awareness. So it's really exciting and it's educational for me to have, my daughter teach me and try to be there for her.
Wow, I'm just so glad you're here that people can see what a wonderful friend I've had. We've known each other for, 10 years.
Yeah.
10 years. And you came to me and said, hey, there's some developments in scouting you might be interested to have on the show. So let's go to the next slide. There's the Scout Law.
Yes. That is definitely something we are excited that we can live by as our moral code, not only for the boys now, but for the girls.
Okay, what's next?
That is me on top of a mountaintop. I completed wood badge training last summer. Actually, my job sent me for my 42nd birthday, where I spent a week out in the woods off-grid, in a sense, and climbed the highest mountain trying to reach my family because I was homesick and didn't get cell signal. But the most beautiful moment for me was pausing and looking down in the valley and seeing 4 red-tailed hawks flying beneath me. And that was the most, almost a spiritual meditation for me, just to pause and be there.
And you were there at wood badge training, which is a high level of adult training.
Yes.
I know when I was a scouter, the men at that time that were wearing the wood badge training badge, we're pretty proud of it.
Yes,
That I kind of put them in an elite group.
It is exciting that I could go. Honestly, there wasn't a whole lot of women there, but the fact that I could do it right alongside the guys, and it met some great friends that I still keep in touch with. Yeah.
All right, what's next?
This is a photo of the VFW post in Newburgh teaching a young Cub Scout pack how to fold the flag and how to take care of it. We make a really good emphasis on working with local communities and organizations to bring in and show leadership skills to the boys. Teach us how to be more patriotic, teach us about flag etiquette, teach us first aid. So we want those boys to grow up involved in the community.
All right, and the VFW there is in Newburgh?
It is, yes.
And so you took a field trip over there?
That pack was chartered by the VFW, so they worked together with them. Yeah.
Now, as you put that pack together, it must have been quite an adventure.
Yes.
To bring together other parents, volunteers, get the boys together. Okay, everybody needs to get a uniform. How are we going to afford that? Maybe some fundraisers. And you had been a den mother before?
I had not. I had no experience in scouting. Yeah. The scouting program we work really hard to make it accessible for all families and break down all barriers that we can. We even have uniform banks. We encourage passing along the uniform once your boys have outgrown it. I bought my son's tiger, his first uniform as a tiger. He's still wearing it because if you buy it big enough when they're 7, that's going to fit them till they're 10. And yes, the council supports 2 big fundraisers a year, so it's not a lot of out-of-pocket costs for packs. And you make that goal of how many boys are going to camp, this is how much we need to sell. And of course, they can do their own fundraisers and get sponsorships.
All right. What's our next picture?
This is a conservation project where we planted over 600 trees at Goose Pond Farms out in Yamhill. Once a year as the district, so our Eagle Valley district covers from Grand Ronde to Newburgh, St. Paul area.
And you're the district executive.
And I oversee that, yes.
For the Eagle Valley district.
Yes.
And say its area again.
Grand Ronde to Newburgh and St. Paul, Amity to Yamhill.
Okay, quite a
Pretty much Yamhill County.
And how many scouts do you have?
We have 600 scouts in this area.
And you're also supervised volunteers.
Yes, there's about 330, I think, adults. I think that's what I said. So I have to make sure that they're all trained. Every adult that's on a leadership position has to have youth protection training, and then there's some leader-specific training they have to do. So we just want to make sure, and then make sure all the boys are getting their advancements in ranks as well.
How many troops approximately?
Oh, I believe in Eagle Valley we have about 40 units. So that's troops and Cub Scout packs.
Okay, and maybe venture scouts as well?
There's only one venture crew.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you are the visiting dignitary to all those. I remember when I was a scout and the district executive came, it was inspection time.
I love going to Court of Honors and going
Yeah.
to Pinewood Derbies and
Yeah.
going to events. Yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah, Court of Honor. What a wonderful memory for me to get those badges. It's really great. And not just available for boys anymore, but we're going to be talking
Yes.
more about that. All right, what's the next picture?
I believe it's the group picture of us planting trees.
So you planted how many trees that day?
600.
And so it was
There was about 60 of us, and
Okay.
the goal was for every boy, and I think even the adults did it too. They had about broken up in groups of 6. There's 100 trees they planted per group, so 600 trees. And it was really exciting, and it didn't rain as bad. It started raining at the beginning, and it kind of went off and then came back.
Well, they look pretty proud of themselves.
Yeah.
I know that planting trees to a young person, to introduce them to doing that hey, you can plant
Yes.
10 trees, 100 trees. It really broke some ground for me, and also the kid's mom was a den mother.
Yes.
And she had a tree planting one afternoon, and it was along the side of a road where I live, and now those trees are a couple 100 feet tall.
There's a great quote that said, "A true scout plants the tree he'll never sit under." So that's our way of giving back and building community. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great feeling. Those boys will be proud of what they've done.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Family scouting.
Okay, let's talk about it. So what? Girls in scouting?
Yes, finally.
What's going on?
Girls are now invited and welcome to join the Cub Scout packs. A lot of these girls that are signing up right away have already been coming for 2-3 years. I know my daughters have already been coming for 2 years, but they're not going to be old enough to join until September. So a lot of the sisters now can finally put on the uniform and earn the badge right alongside their brother and their friends.
And they've been going to meetings because
It's
the
a family.
goes to the meetings anyway. The girls are just kind of like, but probably getting invited to join in,
Yes.
but not officially, no uniform, just kind of
Correct.
siblings.
Yeah, they, taking them out to do the tree planting. I couldn't give the badges to the girls for
Oh, really?
coming.
Yeah. Oh, ouch.
Or I will say that we have segments, but I did give the segments to them.
But they'll be able to put on a
they
uniform
can
someday.
now put it on a uniform, yeah. So that, it's important to recognize and validate their presence. And especially as a family unit, this is a quality time to bring your whole family, be unplugged, have the chance to go camping, go on hikes, learn how to be prepared.
Yeah.
I mean, these are essential skills for life and provide the leadership opportunities that are equal to what the boys are already learning.
So just thinking about, a family unit having to split off part of the family away from the other, and then also to have to make time then for the girl to go do something else, separate but equal.
This brings it all together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so has this been a long time in coming? What's held it up? Is this ahead of its time?
We are
how's it going?
We are a little bit ahead of our time. The Cascade Pacific Council, which oversees Eagle Valley District, was part of the Early Adopters Program. So the National Board of Boy Scouts said, we are accepting girls, but we're going to do it later in 2018. Cascade Pacific Council said, let's do this. Let's see how it's going to work. Let's bring them in. So we got the approval, and we have a sort of guidelines to bring them in, and they can actually start earning their awards. We want those girls to earn their rank by June so they can go to summer camp. They can, and just keep moving up. So we definitely want to validate them.
Let me ask about the organization a little bit. You said the Cascadia Council?
Cascade Pacific Council.
Cascade Pacific Council is a group of districts. Is that
correct?
how many-ish?
Maybe 8 or more.
And it covers
Longview, Washington, down to Albany.
okay, half of the
it's
upper
a
quarter
good, and
of
the
Oregon.
Columbia Gorge, all the
Okay.
way to the beach.
So they decided to be an early adopter.
Correct.
The progressive Oregon, I'm
Yes.
going to say,
Before the handbooks were ready. Yes.
that said he and him and his
Yes. They're going to have brand new handbooks this fall.
with pictures of girls and boys as
Yes.
well. Okay, so Cub Scouts starts at age what?
It's kindergarten. It starts in kindergarten. That's the Lion's Den. It's the first group.
Okay.
And it goes to fourth grade. It goes to fifth grade as our Arrow of Light. The fifth grade isn't a whole year of scouting because they transfer over to Boy Scouts. So we prepare them for the Boy Scout troop.
When they turn 11?
Yes.
Okay. So right now, that is still not available to girls from 11 till
14.
14. And 14 Venture Scouts have been co-ed for 20 years.
Right.
14 and above. But Boy Scouts goes all the way to 18.
Yes.
So what's ahead for girls in that segment?
The word is in 2019, girls will be allowed in the Boy Scout troops, and they will have their own troop. It won't be a co-ed troop. They will have their own troop, but still work alongside the boys in that troop. Does that make sense?
No.
So they can attend events.
Yes.
They can attend Boy Scout events. They can go to camp, but they're going
Yes.
to have their own troop.
It'll be a girls' troop.
It'll be a
And
girls'
boys'
troop.
troop. But at Scout Camp, there'll be girls' troops and boys' troops. Got it. Okay.
Yes.
And that's the plan. It
That's
hasn't
the
been
plan.
implemented yet.
Correct.
In 2019.
Next year.
Next year.
Yeah.
It's not called Boy Scouts anymore then. What's going on there?
Family scouting.
Family scouting.
Yeah, there's not an official. I've noticed a lot of just going alongside saying BSA, Boy Scouts of America.
Yeah.
You'll see the acronym BSA on a lot more things. But right now, our key phrase is family scouting. We're really focusing on it, bringing the whole family in.
Now, people that aren't familiar with scouting, and how do the Girl Scouts fit into this?
They are their own separate organization
Girl Scouts have no association.
with
It's-
Boy Scouts
it's
of
Girl
America.
Scouts of America, or is a separate?
Completely separate.
Okay.
It just gives families more options now. It
Yeah.
provides the opportunity for them to choose, what sort of organization or program they want their child in.
Could a Girl Scout troop all say, "Oh, yeah, we want to be a Boy Scout troop also"?
Why not?
At the same time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
they can dual enroll. Yeah,
Lots of options.
lots of options.
Okay, so at summer camp, people think, well, what about latrine? You know, what all these problems? So these,
But all the camps are already set up with different bathrooms. I mean, I went to Wood Badge at Butte Creek. You
Yeah.
know, you have adults and it's all separate.
so it's maybe a non-problem.
I don't see a problem.
Yeah, okay.
It's like I said, with the venturing crews going to camp and everything else, they've been around the boys and girls together.
Yeah. All right, do we have any more pictures? What have we got?
These are just a few pictures showing that girls have already kind of been in Cub Scouts for years.
Okay.
And just not being able to wear the uniform, not being able to get the badge that they've already earned sitting at the table with the boys building birdhouses or doing the Pinewood Derby. They usually have their separate race because they're siblings and they don't get to compete against the boys.
There's actually been a sibling class in the Pinewood Derby.
Yes.
And now they'll be able to.
Now they can race.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are uniforms designed? Are they different?
As early adopters, they are the same
Okay.
right now. I believe there are skirts for the girls, and there's a picture showing some of the girls.
You have a picture of the skirts? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
We'll get to that.
And there's talk about, there's no uniform's been unveiled yet. I haven't seen what it's
Okay.
going to look like. Yeah.
All right. Well, that'll be interesting because, you know, for some reason, boys' shirts button one way and girls the other. And
Scouting uniforms are not very, especially when I started in 2007, they were just starting to come out with pants that the women could wear. That would be a little bit more flattering because it's just
it
kind of
wasn't. Okay.
yeah, it was still the same kind of cut, and it wasn't, yeah. We'll see what it looks like.
Times are changing.
Yes.
And what do you see the benefits?
Leadership opportunities. My daughters, like already go. They're going to learn skills. They can get the awards. I know some, depending on the child, some kids are very motivated by getting that patch and earning the badge and completing. Other ones just want the community and the friendships. The advantage is it's family. I get to go every Tuesday night with my husband and our children, unplug, no TV, no phones.
Yeah, unplugged.
And do an activity.
Yeah.
Get to work together.
Yeah.
Complete a project that we can be proud of. Participate in a conservation project as a family. You're building a good foundation.
So when parents are thinking, how can I unplug these kids? Think scouting.
Think scouting.
When the kids, boys and girls now, we don't
Right.
have to peel one off
don't
and,
have to.
and the other one's left.
No one has to stay home with this, bring them all.
Yeah. Oh, Gabe, did I see a picture there of a? Yeah. What do we
Yes.
see there?
So that is this was at Wood Badge Night, that was a couple of weeks ago, and my friend sent this to me. And they had the two girls, you'll see one's in the skirt, and the two boys, and they were leading the Pledge of Allegiance. So it was really exciting to see the girls in uniform up there on stage.
So this is one of the first times that girls have. Well, how many other places in the country just said we're going to do this early? Do you know? Maybe you don't know.
You mean nationally?
Yeah.
Because international, there's several countries who have been co-ed for a very long time.
Oh.
So America's just catching up.
Boy Scouts of America
Yeah.
has been co-ed in other countries for a long time.
Correct.
Okay, how about the U.S.?
This is
This is it?
This is
Is
it.
this like one of the first, what picture we saw is one of like the first girls in a Cub Scout uniform?
And they're using the girls in packs in Cascade Pacific Council on the new handbooks that are being published nationally.
The girls.
The girls that are involved in
Yeah.
scouting right now in the Cascade Pacific Council had photos taken and are being used in the handbooks.
They're going to be the pictures in
They
the
are
handbook.
promoting scouting, yeah.
Oh, that's terrific. All right, any more pictures, Gabe?
This is day camp. We have our scout day camp. I'm the camp director. And there's a picture up there of my daughter who was doing the activities right alongside the boys.
Yeah.
And this year she actually, gets to wear a uniform. So it's going to be exciting. We have no idea how many kids are going to show up because
Oh,
it's not
yeah.
just boys this year. We actually get to have a day camp with girls. And they get to do the archery and the BB guns and the woodworking and the cooking just alongside the scouts.
And the boys don't know any better than to complain like this isn't the way it's always been. We have to keep it the same. We're afraid of change. So it's kind of some adults may have to get used to that.
Yes.
And evidently they have. I mean, they've probably been talking about it for a while.
There's a few that have a very difficult time with change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But for scouting, it's going to expand the membership.
Correct. Well, that's our goal. That's our hope.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of children who could benefit from not only learning the Scout law and making this moral code for their life, but think about all the life skills they can learn.
Wonderful. Okay. Okay. That's the Age of the Dinosaurs. This is coming up this July.
This is coming up this July. Yeah.
So if they want to send their sons or daughters, so you have to have a certain rank to go to day camp.
Tiger. Yeah, first grade.
So you need to join up now.
Yes, join Scouts.
To get ready to go
Yeah.
to summer camp.
Yeah, they do need to be a Scout to join camp.
Boys and girls of what ages go to camp?
First through fifth grade.
Okay.
So fifth grade boys can, because it's the summer, so you're looking at the transition of grades there.
Well, I hope there's some parents watching. Hey, honey, look at this. There's
Yeah.
girls in Boy Scouting now. Let's sign them up. Let's take them to let's do family scouting.
That would, yes, be awesome, and come with them, and build the community.
Be a volunteer. We have some contact information for you.
Yes.
All right. The first line is Columbia Pacific Council, BSA.org, Eagle Valley. This is
That's the
a web
website.
page. Okay.
Tells all about scouting, all the programs, even on how to sign up online.
How to sign up online. Okay, good. And then the next one is good old Facebook.
Yes,
Now, do you handle Facebook?
I do.
That's part of your job.
There was an earlier slide on the family scouting one for the beascout.org. And that one shows you what packs are near you. You can enter in your zip code and it tells you all the packs and troops in your area. And then you can click on those and it'll give you the contact information of the Cub Master or the Scout Master. So
Okay, so it's just that easy.
Just that
and
easy.
And if you didn't follow that or your phone is dead, use your landline, and there's Shantae's cell phone number and your email address.
correct.
Terrific. Well, Shante, what are some high points of scouting in your existence, either as district executive, as a den mother, or as a pack leader? What are some times when you just go, wow, this is what it's all about. This is building a strong future for our youth. Give us some examples maybe of.
Oh goodness, I absolutely love being around children. I mean, they're not they're not all worried or anxiety. They just play. They play through learning, which is what I really like. Let's just play and see what we learn. But when you go camping and they learn to make their own shelter, or cooking over a fire, I mean, just little pieces like that. The excitement my son gets when he completes something and builds, like, I built this, his Pinewood Derby car, like designing it and then racing it and winning, or even not winning, but the fact that he raced it and it's still completed without its wheel falling off, which happened the first year. Those moments, but it's also the fact that my daughter, it's time for scouting. Let me get my shirt on. Let's go. I want to go to scouting. There's excited. Even after 2 years, when it comes to Tuesday night, they want to go to scouting.
Yeah.
That's the highlight. When I see other boys or, walking around town and they see me, I had one little boy call me the white dragon lady because I have a white dragon on my car. And he just gets so excited, like, oh, I did this, or, I planted flowers, or I planted a tree, getting to see them and participate and build community service, be, the conservation, they leave no trace. I mean, even hiking in the, park now, those are just things we want to teach our future. We're building the future leaders, the next generation, and if we can work with them now and guide them to make the earth a better place. I mean, we're not doing the best job ourselves, but we're helping the next generation get there too.
Do you think this might have some kind of effect on male-female relationships? Do you think that young men are going to be different?
Starting at an early age in an area where they're seeing adults work together, male, female, and we're guiding them to work together around the table, building a birdhouse, sharing a hammer, helping each other. It's setting a great foundation for the future, learning to work beside each other, encourage each other. These are the leaders. These are the ones who or it doesn't matter what gender you are, what skills do you have? Can you do this?
Can you do this? Shanta, you're an inspiration. Thank you for the intentional life that you live and sharing it with us today. I'm excited about the future of scouting.
Thank you.
I'm glad you're in it.
Thanks. Yeah. I am definitely proud to hold the position.